Hi guys, it's Lauren. Welcome back to my channel. Today is another FMP video, and if you don't know what that means, it's Find My Purpose. I created this series to help those who are trying to find their purpose in life while I try to find mine as well. In my previous video, I talked about goal setting and I listed out all my goals. So today we're gonna take that one step further and focus on one of my goals, which is practicing more Japanese. For today's video, I wanted to dive a little deeper in my steps on how I learn, but just a little background. For the longest time, I never had any interest in learning. I used to live with my parents and grandparents, and my grandparents spoke Japanese to me, and I was able to understand them. I learned how to pick it up by them communicating with me on the day-to-day basis, and I never spoke back to them in Japanese. It was always me talking back in English. It wasn't until 2017 when I first went to Japan. After not going for 15-20 years, it really sparked my interest for learning, and in 2019 I started watching a bunch of Japanese reality shows, a bunch of anime, and I really had the passion of learning. I would go to Japan, be really motivated to learn, and then when I came back home, I studied for a good week or two, and then it kind of died down. So this year, I made it my goal to become conversationally fluent. I have a little bit of knowledge because I took a semester of Japanese and because I understand about maybe 50 or 60% of when someone's speaking to me in Japanese. But other than that, I'm a total beginner. So if you are looking to learn Japanese and don't have any idea, that's okay. We're gonna start from the beginning. I'm not gonna be doing too much pronunciation because I don't want to teach you the wrong thing. I think for future videos, I'm gonna bring a family member or friend that can help with more of the pronunciation. But for this video, I wanted to give you some of my resources that I picked up along the way because I went through so many. You don't need all of these because I went on and off again trying to figure out what the heck to do for Japanese and how the heck to learn it. I bought so many different books. I have Genki, I have Contemporary Japanese, I have a kanji dictionary that probably will never even finish because technically you don't need it, but we'll get into that in a bit. I have so many resources. I have 2,000 most common Japanese words in context. I had this book when I was 5. I remember using this book a long time ago. That's why it's a little bent up. But it's the first 1,000 words in Japanese. And then I also have a visual Japanese to English dictionary. Is that it? One more thing. And then I got this from Daiso. This is a whole bunch of random little cards that has pictures of items and then the hiragana word next to it. And then on top of that, I've downloaded so many different apps. I went through so many different websites trying to find the best way to study Japanese. I think I spent so long trying to find the best way to learn. I ended up being so overwhelmed that I stopped completely. I think the goal for me is not trying to find the perfect way to learn, but picking one and going with it. Even though it's not perfect, I'm sticking with it because I want to learn, and that's the only way I'll get through anything is if I just do it, you know? So that being said, that's the proof I have to show that I am somewhat knowledgeable in knowing how to study. I will give you a breakdown of what I do every day and which resources I think are the best, and hopefully you can pick and choose which works for you as well. Just spend less time organizing how you're gonna learn and start learning. As long as you study a little bit every day, you're gonna get further and further, and eventually you won't even realize that you're studying. It's just gonna come naturally to you. So the first resource that I recommend to start learning Japanese is Tofugu and Imabi. I tried them both. I thought that Imabi was super detailed and well thought out. Tofugu was more fun and also very detailed, but more interesting. I started out with Imabi first and I got through the first page and then stopped completely because it was so much dense information. Although it's good for some people who like every little thing, I think Tofugu for me was easy to read, easy to consume. It held my interest longer. There's different guides and resources on that website It teaches you how to learn hiragana, how to learn katakana, how to learn kanji. If you don't know what those three things are, they're the three writing systems in Japanese. You use the hiragana system for Japanese words, the katakana system for foreign words or any made-up word, and kanji is a writing system derived from Chinese characters, which represents concepts and full words versus sounds. Hiragana and katakana, the kanas, are phonetically sound writing systems. So they use a, ka, sa, whatever to create one word. All three of the writing systems are essential when learning Japanese. The easiest to start off with is hiragana and katakana. Technically, there is a fourth, which is romaji, Japanese words written out with the English alphabet. For example, instead of saying konnichiwa, for hiragana, you would write the symbols for konnichiwa, versus romaji, you write it Konnichiwa. It's okay to start with that in the very beginning, but I definitely recommend you learning hiragana and katakana and then eventually kanji in order to progress with your Japanese learning. Back to the resources. I think Tofugu is a good place to start. They have a guide so you don't have to create your own on what you should do first. They kind of give a breakdown of what things to look out for, what things to do, and it's definitely been a good resource for me. So far, I've been using it for about 2 to 3 weeks. I've definitely seen improvement. Another resource that is really good is called Anki, A-N-K-I. They're a SRS platform or a space repetition system program. You download or create your own flashcards where you can learn different Japanese phrases, words, the alphabet, the writing systems, grammar, anything. There's so many free decks that you can download, and it's basically a platform for you to memorize and retain information, and when you get things wrong, it has the ability to categorize it in a certain way, so you're able to review the ones that you didn't do too well on and the ones that you have mastered. It also optimizes the learning process quite a bit, and because of that, Anki is a really good program for you to use, and I use it as well. So moving to applications, you might know the popular Duolingo, LingoDeer. Those are okay options. I definitely used Duolingo when I first started out and LingoDeer when it was free, but Duolingo teaches me the information, but for some reason I can't retain it. One app that I like the most, and it's completely and 100% free, I think they accept donations, but it's called Renshuu, R-E-N-S-H-U-U, and in Japanese that actually means practice or training, but it's an application where they supply grammar practice, hiragana practice, katakana, kanji, sentences, the JLPT levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, Japanese sentences and grammar. It's very customizable and really cute too. Once you level up, you have this cute little character that levels up with you. You have a little garden. It's not complicated at all. I hate complicated apps where there's so many different components. It's very straight to the point. You just learn the material, take the quizzes, and level up. It's a really great app to have, and it's completely free. That's my #1 recommendation. As for textbooks, there isn't one that I use daily. I think having free website resources and apps are good enough, but if you want to take that step further, there are 2 that I have that I really like. Let me bring out my massive bag of books. This one's called Genki, and this one's called Contemporary Japanese. I think out of the 2, I do prefer Genki because there's also a workbook that goes with it as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Contemporary Japanese has a workbook, but I just don't have it. But this one is very detailed and it has a bunch of vocabulary. It starts you off with hiragana and katakana too, so it teaches you all of that. I think definitely having a textbook is good if you are in a classroom setting, but sometimes some of the practice worksheets on this say to practice with a partner, so unless you have a partner, it's not as effective. I think the apps and websites are more catered to solo learning than a textbook, but if you want an extra resource, this is a good one to have too. One that I don't recommend is this one, Japanese to English Visual. Although there are a lot of pictures in here, there are a lot of words in here that are literally, what's soup? It's supu. What's potato? It's potato. What's artichoke? It's artichoku. There are some words that are beneficial. No. Spongy is sponge. Masking tape is masking tape. sandpaper, sandpaper. Okay, so dirty laundry is yogoremono. So I guess that one works. Birthday party is tanjo party. And then they do have emotions with stock photo images. Happy is ureshi, kanashi is sad, okoru is angry, warao is laugh. But it's okay. I barely use this at all. Maybe I look at this to laugh. Or if I'm tired of reading lots of words, I briefly look at it, but I think I opened the dictionary once. So lastly, I want to talk about my schedule. Not go into great detail because I want to make sure that you start learning and stop focusing on the schedule itself. But how I started learning Japanese is by immersing myself in the environment, and if you don't have that, that's okay. Another way you can do that is going on YouTube and typing in Japanese conversation or even anime. Start watching anime, look at the subtitles. If you see or hear a word being repeated over and over again and that's a word that seems cool to you, if that's a word that you're interested in, just write it down. All the things that you hear in a different language, doesn't even have to be Japanese. If you're interested in, write it down or look it up if you don't know the exact pronunciation or the exact wording. Keep a little notebook or something. You'll be surprised that you learn a handful of words. So aside from immersing yourself in the language is learning the first writing system, hiragana. I think hiragana is essential and easier to learn than katakana because hiragana and katakana are a syllabary language. All the hiragana and katakana follow the same format, which is under the syllables a, I, U, E, and O. Kind of like the vowels of the alphabet. But then after that, it goes ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, sa, shi, su, se, so, ta, chi, tsu, te, to, and so on. All of the hiragana and katakana follow that. The only exception is n, which is the n sound, that's different. So I learned hiragana first because those characters represent Japanese words. Like I said earlier, katakana focuses on foreign words. So for example, my name, Lauren or Roren, would be in katakana, and then inu, which means dog, would be in hiragana. After you learn hiragana, you go to katakana. Some of the katakana characters are similar to hiragana, so it might be easier to jump from hiragana to katakana that way. And then after that, you go to kanji. To be conversationally fluent in Japanese, it's essential to know at least, I would say, 2,000 kanji. That's really hard. I think for now I only know 30 by memorization, but I am learning and I definitely figured out a system on how to learn kanji, not by looking at each symbol and memorizing it. They're a thing in kanji that includes radicals and mnemonics that definitely make learning kanji easier. If you're interested, I can explain more in another video, but immersing yourself in Japanese and learning the writing systems is the first step into learning Japanese and to the journey ahead. With that being said, I'm so happy to share with you my knowledge and arsenal of resources. Hopefully this video makes you want to learn Japanese with me. I really hope I reach my goal of becoming conversationally fluent. It would be so great if at the end of the year I'll be able to have like a full conversation in Japanese to the camera without feeling shy or choked up, and I would love for you to learn with me as well. Send me a message, talk to me in Japanese via text. You can even send me a photo or video of you talking to me in Japanese and I'll try to respond to you. That'd be really cool. If you want me to set something like that up, let me know. But other than that, thank you so much again for watching this video. Make sure to like and comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye!